Good morning, grade 9. Welcome to our next lesson. Today we are covering Act 2, Scene 2 of A Midsummer Night's Dream. So in Act 2, Scene 1, we ended off where Oberon is planning to pour this magic juice onto Titania's eyes. And now we open this scene, Scene 2, in another part of the woods where Titania is with her fairy attendants. Titania says, "Come now, a roundel and a fairy song, so a dance in a ring holding hands." And Titania wants to be sung to sleep. She wants a lullaby, she wants some entertainment, so that she can go to sleep before the fairies go off to do their duties. So she says, "Then for a third part of a minute hence, so then go off for 20 seconds. Some to kill cankers, so some to kill worms and caterpillars in the musk rosebuds." Obviously these are fairies, they take care of nature, they take care of the plants. And then some war with rear mice, so some go to war with bats for their leathery strong wings to make my small owls coats. So killing bats to get leather to make coats for the owls. And some keep back the clamorous owl, the noisy owl that nightly hoots and wonders at our quaint dainty spirits. So basically saying that some of you keep the owl quiet. Sing me now asleep. So sing me a lullaby, then to your offices to go off to your duties and let me rest. And the fairies start to sing. The first fairy sings, "You spotted snakes with double tongues," so with forked tongues as snakes have. "Thorny hedgehogs be not seen. Newts," small lizard creatures, "and blind worms," so small legless lizards, "do no wrong. Come not near our fairy queen." So they're almost singing a song of protection, a lullaby of protection over their queen, saying that these creatures are not allowed to come near her or to harm her. And their chorus goes on to say, "Fill and mull with melody, sing in our sweet lullaby. Lulla lulla lullaby, lulla lulla lullaby, never harm, nor spell nor charm, come our lovely lady nigh. So good night with lullaby." So they're singing her to sleep and also wishing her a safe rest where no harm comes to her. Now, making reference to Philomel in the chorus, Philomel comes from a legend, and in this legend, Philomel was raped by her brother-in-law, King Tereus. He was married to her sister Procne, and he invited Philomel to come and stay with them, and then he raped her. After that, he cut out her tongue so she wouldn't be able to tell anyone what had happened, and she wove the story into a robe and sent it to her sister Procne so that she'd know the truth. Procne, in her anger, cut up her own son, their son, to punish Tereus, her husband, and she fled to her sister Philomel. To stop this cruelty from progressing, all of this needless cruelty, the gods then turned all three of these people into birds. So the idea of almost calling on Philomel's spirit as a bird, this melody that she sings, calling on the spirit of Philomel to protect Titania. The second fairy sings on, "Weaving spiders, come not here. Hence, you long-legged spinners, hence." So spinners being spiders, so hence go away. Long-legged spiders, go away. "Beetles black, approach not near," so you're not allowed to come here. "Worm nor snail do no offense," so no one is allowed to harm the fairy queen. So almost waving this magic spell to protect her. And then everyone sings the chorus about Philomel, and the first fairy says, "Hence away, now all is well." So everything's well, the queen is sleeping, now off you go. One aloof stand sentinel, so one person is left, should stand guard at a distance from Queen Titania, and the rest must go off to do their duties. So all of the fairies exit, and Titania lies there sleeping. And Oberon enters the scene, obviously probably not seen by the sentinel, the guard who's supposed to be protecting her, and he squeezes the juice from this flower onto Titania's eyelids. And he says, "What thou seest when thou dost wake, do it for thy true love take, love and languish for his sake." So he starts by saying the spell as he puts the potion onto her eyes. And we're going to have a look more at the spell now. But he's essentially saying that when you wake, you are going to fall in love with the first thing that you see. and you need to love and languish, become sentimental for his sake, for this thing that you see, you're going to fall in love, deeply in love with him. Now, I'm going to read that section again onto the next slide where we see the rest of the spell. And I want you to listen to how the words flow. Look at the short lines, the rhyming scheme, and the rhythm, and how it makes it sound like this enchantment that he's chanting, the spell that he's chanting. So, what thou seest when thou dost wake, do it for thy true love take. Love and languish for his sake. Be it ounce, or cat, or bear, pard, or boar with bristled hair, in thy eye that shall appear when thou wakest, it is thy dear. Wake when some vile thing is near. So the short lines, the rhyming structure, the rhythm, all create this idea of someone uttering an enchantment over someone else. There's sort of magic entity to these lines. An ounce here refers to a lynx, and a pard, a leopard. So he wants her to fall in love with a vicious, wild creature, something ugly, perhaps like a boar. Anything vile, when anything vile is near, he wants her to wake and fall in love with it. So the whole idea of what he's doing here is to ridicule and punish her. He wants her to look ridiculous, being in love with a creature. And then he exits the scene. And Lysander and Hermia come into this part of the forest. So we know that Lysander and Hermia are obviously running away to Lysander's aunt's house where they can be married, and he can have his wealthy aunt support them. So Lysander says, "Fair love, you faint with wandering in the wood." So you're very tired. I can see you're really getting tired now. "And to speak troth, I have forgot our way." So to be honest, I'm lost. I don't know which way we're going. "We'll rest us, Hermia, if you think it good, and wait here until day for the comfort of the day." So let's rest here if you're fine with it, and then we'll start again tomorrow morning. And Hermia says, "Be it so, Lysander. Find you out a bed, for I upon this bank will rest my head." So Hermia says, "No, that's fine. You go find somewhere to sleep. I'm going to lie here on this bank." And Lysander answers, "One turf shall serve as pillow for us both. One heart, one bed, two bosoms, two hearts, and one troth," so one pledge of fidelity to each other. And Lysander's trying to convince her that it's fine if they lie next to each other, that he doesn't need to go off and find somewhere else to lie. They can lie next to each other here on this bank. But Hermia is not having any of this. Obviously, we know Hermia is quite a strong character, and she has her values and her morals and things she believes in. And she says, "Nay," so no, good Lysander, "for my sake, my dear, lie further off yet. Do not lie so near." So she wants to protect her modesty and her reputation. So please lie a bit further away. And Lysander is really trying hard to convince her here that because of their lovers' oaths, they're one and they can share one bed, even though they're not married yet. And he says, "Oh, take the sense, sweet, of my innocence. Love takes the meaning in love's conference." So lovers understand the true meaning of what they say to each other. So I'm not trying to do anything untoward. I'm not trying to get away with anything here. I mean that my heart unto yours is knit, so my heart is bound to yours, so that but one heart we can make of it. So we have one single heart shared between the two of us. Two bosoms, hearts, interchanged with an oath. So then two bosoms with a single troth, a pledge. And by your side no bedroom me deny, so don't deny me sleeping space. For lying so, Hermia, I do lie, I do not lie. So there's quite a lot of wordplay in this passage, and there's a triple pun that's included here. Lysander, his name, Lysander, and the idea of lie. So he's talking about lying down, and lying down next to her as Lysander. He is not lying, deceiving her. And Hermia knows what he's doing, and she says, "Lysander riddles very prettily." So Lysander plays with words very charmingly. He's a charming guy. You're being very charming. It's lovely. "Now much beshrew my manners and my pride." So now shame upon my manners and my pride. If Hermia meant to say Lysander lied. So I didn't mean that you're lying, but, gentle friend, for love and courtesy, lie further off in human modesty. So out of respect for my modesty and my reputation, please, still, I'd like you to lie further away. Such separation as may well be said, becomes, suits a virtuous bachelor and a maid, a young woman, a virgin, a maiden. So far be distant. So please move off away out of respect for me, and good night, sweet friend. Thy love, may your love never alter till thy sweet life end. So may your love never change until the end of your life. May we always be in love like this. And Lysander answers with Amen, Amen to that fair prayer say I. And then end life when I end loyalty. So he's saying that if he ever stops loving her, if he ever stops being loyal to her, may he die. Here is my bed. So, okay, I'll lie on this side. Sleep give thee all his rest. So you sleep well. May you have all the rest in the world. And Hermia says, with half that wish the wisher's eyes be pressed. So with half what you wish in me, this wonderful sleep, may you get half of that sleep and I get half of that sleep. So she's wishing him well, to sleep well, basically. He says, sleep well, sleep tight, and she says, you too. And then they sleep. And Puck enters the scene. Now, obviously, we know Puck has been sent by Oberon to find Demetrius, who is running away from Hermia. And he wants Puck to put this magic potion juice on Demetrius's eyes to make him fall in love with Hermia. And Puck says, through the forest have I gone, but Athenian found I none. So he hasn't found Demetrius yet. On whose eyes I might approve, test, this flower's force in stirring love. Night and silence. So everywhere he looks, he finds nothing. He has not found this Athenian Demetrius that Oberon has sent him to find. Who is here? So now he happens to come upon Hermia and Lysander lying there. Weeds of Athens he doth wear, so weeds being clothes, so clothing of Athens he's wearing. Now, Puck, Robin, good fellow, he's made a mistake in thinking now that Lysander lying here is Demetrius, because they're both wearing Athenian clothing, and Oberon wasn't very clear, I didn't give him a very good description, so now he thinks that he's found the right person. But the scene doesn't make sense to him. He says, this is he, my master said. Despise the Athenian maid. So this is the one that my master, Oberon, was talking about, the one who hates this Athenian maid, this beautiful Athenian lady. And here the maiden sleeping sound. So here's the girl, she's fast asleep, on the damp and dirty ground. Pretty soul. She durst not lie near this lack-love, this kill courtesy. So obviously he thinks quite highly of the woman that he's seeing here, which is Hermia, and he's despising, hating on the man he sees here, which is Lysander, thinking that he's Demetrius. And he says that she doesn't dare to lie near him because he hates her. So he's obviously talking about the distance between them, not knowing that this is actually Hermia, who doesn't want to lie next to Lysander, who she loves purely for her modesty out of respect for her reputation. So he continues to insult Lysander in his sleep, thinking he's Demetrius, and he says, chill, so ungracious fellow, lout, scumbag. Upon thy eyes I throw all the power this charm doth owe. So all the power that this potion possesses, I'm putting onto you now. When thou wakest, let love forbid sleep his seat on thy eyelid. So when you wake now, let love keep you permanently awake. So awake when I am gone, for I must now to Oberon. So I must now go to Oberon. So awake now when I've gone, and let your love for this woman not be able to silence you or let you sleep again because you're so obsessed with her. And he exits the scene. But now we have Demetrius and Helena running into the scene, and Helena, chasing Demetrius, says, stay, though thou kill me, sweet Demetrius. So she's asking him to stay, even if she runs the risk of him killing her or hurting her. She's begging him to stay and not run after Hermia. Demetrius says, I charge thee hence, so go away, and do not haunt me thus. Don't follow me. And Helena says, oh, wilt thou darkly leave me? So will you leave me in the dark? Do not so, don't do that. Demetrius says, stay on thy peril. I didn't tell you to stay. You wanted to stay. You wanted to follow me. You'd entered here on your own, out of your own volition. You knew the danger. He says, I alone will go. I'm leaving. And then he leaves the scene. And Helena says, oh, I am out of breath. So this is an example here of Shakespeare providing built-in stage directions for his actors, saying, I'm out of breath. And this gives the actress acting the part, in this case it would have been an actor, a clue to be puffing and panting because Helena has been running after Demetrius. But there's also a double meaning here because she's saying, I'm out of breath in this fond chase, so this foolish chase. So I'm out of breath from running after Demetrius physically, but I'm also running out of energy to chase him emotionally. The more my prayer, the lesser is my grace. So the more I pray for Demetrius to love me, the less my prayers are answered, the more he hates me. Happy is Hermia wheresoever she lies, for she hath blessed and attractive eyes. So now she goes back to languishing on the idea of Hermia being so lucky and that she's so beautiful, and if only she knew how lucky she was. So she's saying that she is happy because she's got blessed and attractive eyes, because she's so pretty. How came her eyes so bright? So what makes her eyes so attractive? Not with salt tears. So her eyes have not become attractive because she cries all the time. If so, my eyes are oftener washed than hers, so I cry far more than she does, in which case I'd be more attractive if that's what created attraction. Now she starts feeling sorry for herself and she says, no, I am as ugly as a bear, for beasts that meet me run away for fear. So she's having a little pity party here and she's really going extreme. We know she's very attractive, but she feels like she doesn't compare to Hermia, so she's going on about how ugly and worthless she is now. Therefore no marvel though Demetrius do, as a monster fly my presence thus. So therefore no marvel, it's no wonder Demetrius do, like a monster, flee from me, run away from me and my presence, because he thinks I'm a monster, because I'm a beast, because I'm so hideous and ugly. And this whole soliloquy here makes Helena come across quite simple-minded, so she's foolish, and she's naive. Her whole understanding of Demetrius' attraction to Hermia is that she's so pretty. She's not taking into account her personality, her strong character, which is directly in contrast with Helena being so weak and obsessive. And she's also not taking into account any kind of benefits that could come from Demetrius marrying Hermia in terms of their family connection and whatever Hermia's father is willing to give Demetrius. She doesn't see any of that. She just sees Hermia as being pretty, and that must be the reason Demetrius loves her. What wicked and dissembling glass of mine made me compare with Hermia's sphery eye? So what wicked deceptive mirror that I have made me think I could compare with these starry eyes, these eyes like stars, these beautiful eyes that Hermia has. And now she finally sees that she's not alone, and she says, but who is here? Lysander on the ground. So she's obviously walked up to where Lysander is sleeping, and he's not sleeping next to Hermia. So Helena doesn't see that Lysander's not alone, and she wonders what's happened to him. She says dead or asleep. Obviously she knows that Demetrius wants to kill him, and then she says, I see no blood, no wound, so obviously he's not injured. Lysander, if you live, good sir, awake. So now she wants to warn him. But this creates quite a comedic effect, this timing, because Helena has just finished a whole speech about how hideous she is and no one loves her and no men are attracted to her. And the potion has now taken effect. It's instant. As soon as Lysander opens his eyes, he's now awake with the first person in front of him, and that is now Helena instead of Hermia. So it creates quite a comedic timing in that the first thing he says when he opens his mouth are all love, words of love and passion for Helena, who he thought of as a friend before. And he says, and run through fire I will for thy sweet sake. So quite extreme, I'll do anything for you, I'll run through fire for you. Transparent Helena, Nature shows art that through thy bosom makes me see thy heart. So he's saying nature has worked like an artist. He's really waxing poetic here. And he's saying, in making a body I can see through to its heart. I see through, right through you to your heart. Where is Demetrius? Oh, how fit a word is that vile name to perish on my sword. So now he's saying he's angry with Demetrius and he wants to kill him. But obviously Helena is very confused. She doesn't understand this speech at all because she thinks that Lysander still loves Hermia and he wants to kill Demetrius only because Demetrius loves Hermia too. And Helena says, do not say so, Lysander, say not so. What though he love your Hermia? So what does it matter if he loves Hermia too? Lord, what thou? So really, what does that matter? Yet Hermia still loves you, then be content. So you should be happy with the fact that Hermia loves you. You don't need to kill Demetrius just because he loves her too. You're the lucky one. Hermia loves you. But now Lysander makes it more clear to her that this has nothing to do with Hermia. It's his love for her, Helena. So he says, content with Hermia? No, I do repent the tedious minutes I with her have spent. So how can I be content with Hermia? What are you talking about? I repent these tedious, boring minutes I've spent with her. So it's a complete 180-degree about turn that he feels nothing for Hermia now. He's completely obsessed with Helena. Not Hermia, but Helena I love. Who will not change a raven for a dove? So raven, typically being a crow, a black creature. And here they're comparing Helena's hair, which is black, with Hermia's hair, which is blonde. And blondes were more favorable at this and fashionable at this point in time in history. And it's almost an ironic statement, like who wouldn't want to give up a blonde for a brunette, for someone with black hair? The will of man is by his reason swayed, and reason says you are the worthier maid. So my reason says that you are the prettier girl, the prettier maiden. And my reason is the thing that's compelling me here, it's controlling me. Things growing are not ripe until their seasons, and now he's talking specifically about fruit. So I, being young, till now, ripe not to reason. So because I was young, I was not ripe, my mind was not ripe, my reason was not ripe, I was not mature enough to judge beauty and love. And touching now the point of human skill, so now that I'm reaching my mature best, reason becomes the marshal, the guide to my will. And it's quite funny because this whole speech that he's giving here is him trying to argue that everything he's feeling has to do with his reason and his judgment. He's completely convinced that he's now only seeing the true light, when everything that he's actually feeling is because of this magic potion. And he says, and leads me to your eyes where, oh look, I read love's stories written in love's richest books. So now trying to express his passion and obsession for her. And Helena takes this the wrong way, understandably. She has no idea where he's coming from saying this. She knows how much he really loves Hermia. So she thinks that he is mocking her, deriding her, making fun of her. And she says, wherefore was I to this keen mockery born? So wherefore was I to this sharp and painful mockery born? What have I done to deserve this? When at your hands did I deserve the scorn? So what have I ever done to you to deserve this kind of hatred and evil, mean jesting? It's not enough. Is it not enough, young man, that I did never, no, nor never can, deserve a sweet look from Demetrius's eyes? So isn't it bad enough that Demetrius is never going to love me? But you must flout my insufficiency. But you must mock my inability to attract men. So is this what you have to do now? Is you have to mock me for the fact that Demetrius doesn't love me and that no man loves me? Good troth, you do me wrong. Good sooth, you do in such disdainful manner me to woo. So calling on fate and Lysander, what he's doing, just saying that you're doing such an ill, a wrong to me. But fare you well, so goodbye, I'm going to leave. Perforce, out of necessity, I must confess, I thought you lord of more true gentleness, so I really thought you were a gentleman. Oh, that a lady of one man refused should of another therefore be abused. She's saying, this isn't fair. I really didn't expect this from you. It's bad enough that I've already had one man refuse to love me, but now I'm being abused by another man who loves the woman that my man loves. So really upset, she leaves in quite a temper, quite emotional, and she exits the scene. Now Lysander is completely confused, being changed through this potion to love her. He says, she sees not Hermia. Hermia, sleep thou there. So now he's talking to Hermia as she sleeps. You stay there. And never mayst thou come Lysander near. So you're never allowed to come near me again. So all his love for her is now turned into this sort of hatred. For as a surfeit of the sweetest things, so from eating too much of the sweetness from you, the deepest loathing to my stomach brings. So he's had too much of her, he's sick of her now. And obviously this is all the work of this potion. Or as the heresies that men do leave, so as the false beliefs that leave men, abandon men. So as you grow up, you realize that some things aren't true, and you let go of these foolish beliefs. That's what he thinks he's doing now. Are hated most of by those they did deceive. So people growing up come to hate these false things that they believed in that have trapped them in their life. And he's saying, so thou, my surfeit and my heresy, he's calling her an excess, almost like a gluttony of sweet things, and a heresy, a false belief. He's talking about his love for her and her as a person. Of all be hated, but the most by me. So he's saying he absolutely hates her and the love he had for her. And all my powers, all my inner resources, apply your love and might to honor Helen and to be her knight. So now he's talking to himself and saying that everything within him must now be applied to honoring Helen, to loving her, Helena, and to making her realize that he is there to win her heart. So very, very strong potion. This love drug has been really effective. And obviously he then exits the scene to run after Helena, who's running after Demetrius. So quite a lot of comedy in that, seeing that on stage and how the way it's playing out. And it's a sense of dramatic irony because we know what's going on, but some of the characters don't yet. And then Hermia, who's been sleeping there, wakes up with all of this noise. She's been having a nightmare. And we see that different changes in mood are conveyed through this passage, through her own soliloquy, through different phrases. And it starts with this moment of a nightmare that she's having before she wakes up. And this can be the treachery that's going on in the scene while she's sleeping, that changes to her happiness and her love. And then it comes this relief that it was only a dream, followed by the growing awareness that Lysander has gone, the listening to silence after her shouting for him, and then this rising note of panic that he has gone. So Hermia wakes up in a panic and she's saying, "Help me, Lysander, help me. Do thy best to pluck this crawling serpent from my breast." So she has this idea of the snake crawling all over her. And then she realizes, so that's the moment that she's having this nightmare before she wakes up. And then she says, "Ay me, for pity. What a dream was here. Lysander, look how I do quake with fear." So it's this relief that it was only a dream, that she was scared. She's feeling so frightened, but at least it was only a dream. "Methought a serpent eat my heart away, and you sat smiling at his cruel prey." Then she moves on to realizing that he's gone. "Lysander, what removed?" Okay, now she starts shouting for him, "Lysander, Lord!" "What? Out of hearing? Gone?" So the silence that comes after a shout that he's not here. No sound, no word. "Alack, where are you? Speak, and if you hear, speak, of all loves." I swoon almost with fear, so this rising note of panic that's in her voice. "No? Then I well perceive you are not nigh, you're not nearby. Either death, or you I'll find immediately." So she's going to run off after him and either find death danger for herself, or she's going to find him. And this plays on the idea of Pyramus and Thisbe, where she thinks that Pyramus thinks that some harm has come to Thisbe because of this veil that she left behind, but she was sitting there waiting for him when she saw a lion, and she ran away. So now Hermia has this idea that some harm may have come to Lysander, and she runs to find him to check that he's okay, also before any harm comes to herself. And then she exits the scene. So this is where our Act 2, Scene 2 finishes, and we are going to be moving on after our last transactional piece. We're going to be moving on to Act 3, Scene 1. So please prepare that, listen to the audio and read through Act 3, Scene 1 in preparation for our next theoretical lesson. Have a lovely day.